If your makeup base never looks as good as the girlies on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you might be making the same mistakes I used to make. The first makeup mistake I used to make was not prioritizing skincare simply because I had oily skin. But the fact that you even have oily skin is more than enough reason why you need to make sure you do your skincare properly. Now, for skincare, you want to focus on products that bring hydration to your skin. So when you apply your makeup, it blends better into your skin. And I just believe when you don't do skincare before your makeup, it even makes your skin issues more obvious because the product is just going to stand on top of your skin, if that makes sense. So for my skincare today, I already washed my face with the Face Fat Ceramide face cleanser. I'm going to go in next with this oil, with this Aquel. I should just know how to pronounce this thing. So whenever I come here, we don't do this dance. But yeah, let me quickly put something on my lips. I don't like it when my lips are dry. So yeah. Next is toner. I'll be using a cotton pad to apply this. This is a cleansing toner, so it just helps to remove any extra form of dirt, impurity, or whatever that may be on your skin. So let me just apply this all over the cotton pad. You guys, I forgot to pick up my mirror again. So just rub this gently all over your skin. And of course, between each skin prep step, you want to make sure it has enough time to dry and absorb into your skin before you move on to the next product. So yeah, let me quickly get my mirror, you guys. I'm not going to use this as a mirror today. I found my mirror, guys. My mirror, guys. It's this cute Debbie's Hive mirror. I love it so much. So now that you guys, my phone just scared me. Okay, so now that toner is done, we're going to move in with. Normally, I would use my niacinamide, but I'm out of niacinamide. You guys, I'm in trouble. When I tell you all of my skincare products are finished, this is the toner I use. This is what is left. I don't know if you guys can see. For niacinamide, the bottle is completely empty as well. So this is the serum we're using today. As you can see, this is also hanging on its last leg. I need to get another one. So I told you guys the focus is on hydrating products, and this is the Zaron Skin Regenerating Hydrating. You can see the hydrating written in bold. Hydrating serum. So let's just quickly apply this. I also have a mirror behind me, so yeah. It also creates a barrier so your foundation does not break. When you apply your foundation directly on your skin, it breaks. But when you have primer, your foundation is not going to break. So oily skin, dry skin, you want to make sure you get yourself primer. And for today's makeup look, I'll be using this Blossom Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I'm not going anywhere. I just want to make some videos at home. So this is ideal. But on days when I have to go out of the house, this is not the primer for me. Or if I'm using this, I'll mix it with something else. So if you have dry skin, you can get this. If you have oily skin and you still want to get this, make sure you get another primer that you would use for like your T-zone. Blend this in, and we're going to give this time to dry and actually absorb and sink into my skin. Okay, another makeup mistake was not using primer. Not like I didn't used to use primer, but on some days I'll just feel like primer is not necessary, or when I don't have primer, I don't stress myself to get. But I'm telling you, you need primer. I think the girls that have oily skin, they know they need primer, but even if you have dry skin, you need primer. Primer serves as the base for your product to sit on. So I'm going to apply this all over my face. I don't really do a lot of makeup tutorials on YouTube, and that's just because I think these days the makeup girlies, they are usually on TikTok or Instagram. People don't really come on YouTube to watch makeup videos. Please correct me if I'm wrong, so I would start prioritizing it. But I've missed just doing makeup with you guys. I know most times when I come here, I'm doing makeup, but I'm not telling you what I'm doing. Like, I'm just doing it. So yeah. So next, let's talk about foundation. I'll be using the V Beauty foundation in Ethiopia. You guys know I love this foundation down. So yeah, foundation, I think the mistake I used to make was using just a brush to blend my foundation. For the longest, I used to be like a brush, what am I saying? I used to be a brush girly. Like I just love to apply my foundation with just a brush. But I realized using a brush and a beauty blender actually gives you the best finish. Now, where is my foundation brush? I don't know. Like, so I've blended my foundation in with my brush for the full coverage. If you want full coverage, brush. If you don't want full coverage, use a beauty blender. But using both actually gives you like the best finish. So the brush is going to give you full coverage, and then you go in with your beauty blender to really blend everything in together. So the product actually sinks into your skin. Because of the way a brush is, it's easy for it to leave like streaks or lines on your face. So when you use a beauty blender, it just helps to smoothen everything out together, and it gives you an overall smoother and better finish. Another mistake I used to make was I used to rush through the blending process of my makeup. If you're a beginner, or if you know you've not been loving like the overall finish of your makeup, you need to take your time when it comes to blending. I promise you, it's going to make your makeup look 100 times better. Was skipping liquid contour and blush, just because I felt like, okay, I'm still going to use powder blush, I'm still going to use the powder bronzer, so there's no point going in with my liquids. But I'm telling you today, you have to use your liquid products. The liquid products, they blend better into your foundation, while the powder products, they just sit on top of your skin. So if you want that skin like finish, you want to use the liquid product on your foundation. So you are blending it into your foundation, and then you put the powders on top. It's the same reason why we wear foundation basically. When you just rub powder on your face, the powder is just on your face, it's not inside your skin. So if you want that skin like finish, go in with your liquid contour, your liquid blush, and then you move on to the powder product. For me, I'll be using this Adventure Blend Pro Concealer in shade 09 Hazelnut. This is actually too light for me. I say this all the time, but I still cannot stop reaching for it because I like it. And another thing, when it comes to like your liquid products, I prefer you get um the proper liquid ones. I don't like palettes. I don't like concealer palettes. I don't like blush palettes, because they dry out really fast and you have to like dig deep into the product for you to get the creamy part. I don't know if you understand. So I prefer the actual liquid products compared to concealer palettes and the rest. And for liquid blush, I'm going to be using the Zaron Cheeky Liquid Blush in the shade Old Fashioned. And also your contour, your blush, your concealer placement, it all depends on the shape of your face. There is no one universal rule. That's another thing. I always used to do what every other person was doing instead of looking for people with similar face shape as me. So if you don't have my face shape, don't use my product placement. Look for someone that has the same face shape as you, and then you do whatever they are doing, or just try different types until you find the placement that works best for you. Okay, so I would blend this with an angled brush just to make sure I get that lifted look, because that's what I like to do. Younger Beauty Smooth Match Concealer in the shade SMC4. SMC means smooth match concealer, so I don't know why I said it twice. But I'm just going to put this over here. Another makeup mistake is using too much concealer, except you want that really bright under eye look. I don't think you need a lot of concealer. And you also want to blend your concealer with a tiny brush first. This is something I started doing recently, and when I tell you guys, it has completely improved the quality of my makeup. When you use a small brush, it's easier for you to control the product, because you don't want every part of your cheeks to be bright. Do you understand? So when it's a small brush, you can just quickly apply it on the exact part of your face you want the concealer to be on. So please try to get one of these brushes. I promise you, you'd have a better blend. Now I'll go in with this really tiny beauty blender and just press this in. I can actually use the big beauty blender. Okay, I think I want to do that because I love that it has this sharp edge. So I'm just going to press this in to smoothen out the edges. You guys know I would always use a beauty blender after using a brush. Another makeup mistake is people not being particular with their beauty blender. While using your beauty blender, you want to make sure the side you're using to blend your concealer is different from the part you use in blending your foundation, is different from the part you use in blending your contour. If you just use it anyhow, you find yourself applying foundation on your blush. How is the blush supposed to show? If you want that bright under eye look, you want to go in with a second layer of concealer at the inner corner of like this part of your face. For me, I'm using the same concealer because I really don't want to use the other concealer I have. I have just one shade of this Younger Beauty concealer, and you guys know I'm obsessed with it. I don't want to use the other concealer I have, and I also don't really care much for that extremely bright under eye look. But if it's something you want, go in with a lighter shade of concealer after blending in the first, and just make sure it's focused on this part of your face. You blend it in. Like I said, blending with a brush just helps you control the placement of your concealer. Another mistake I used to make was going in with a setting powder immediately after my concealer. You want to set your face first with a pressed powder before you use your baking powder. If you go straight into baking, your makeup is going to crease, it's going to look heavy. So for me, I'll be using the Zaron Face Definer. I pity myself. Hey God, because even this powder is running out. I need to get a new one. Before I start setting, I'll quickly go over my under eye one more time, just in case there's like any form of creasing, because when you close your eyes you have like lines under your eyes, so it's normal for the concealer to crease. So you just want to, smoothen it out and then apply your powder immediately. Make sure you're looking up so the powder actually gets under your eyes. If you want to avoid that dark line on your nose when you do your nose contour, please do not reach for the darkest shade of powder in your powder palette. Preferably, the powder you use as your bronzer should be darker than the powder you use to contour your nose. For this, I'll be using the Zickel Face Powder Palette, and I'm just going to use this shade. This is even the shade I apply on the other side of my face. I don't use this shade for my contour because it's not dark enough, but I use it to contour my nose because I really do not want that dark line. Like, I want the contour to be there, but I don't want it to be too obvious. And I'm also using a angled brush just to make sure the contour line is slim and precise. To get the best nose contour, I found that doing like a slight V on my nose is actually better than doing a straight line. I'm going to show you guys what I mean by that. Now, having this slight V, it just helps. I think this is better than doing the whole straight line thing. So I'm just going to go ahead to bake, and for baking I'll be using the S-Pon setting powder. I don't have the big pack here because it's actually a really big pack. So I poured it into this tiny container so it easily fits into my makeup bag. You want to pick up the product just like this, put it on your makeup palette. I think this is called a makeup palette. Can you guys see? You dab off the excess for you to get like a smoother finish. The mistake I used to make, I'll just dip my what's this thing called, triangle powder puff. I'll just dip it into the setting powder and apply it directly on my face. But you don't want to do that. You want to put it on a palette or the back of your hands. Go over it again just to make sure the powder is actually getting into all the corners and crevices of the triangle puff, and then we apply. Okay, so now your baking powder is also going to help with your nose contour, so you want to push it inwards to create like a line. I love to do a little curve, yeah. And then for this part we want to lift it up a bit. Okay, now I'll do the same thing for the other side and I'll see you. I'm also using the Zaron face palette for my contour. I'm lifting this up because I told you guys this is generally what I like for my face shape. I just really like that lifted look because of my eyes. That's already the shape of my face. Like I have fat cheeks, like everything is already like this. So yeah, I like to do that. And then for blush, I'll be using this CPD powder blush. I'm not doing eyeshadow, so I think I'll go a bit heavy with my blush and just try to extend it into my eyes as well. I'll be using this really orange shade of blush. I love it. I just think orange blush looks better on dark skinned women compared to the pinks, the reds. You can use whatever you like. Most times I try to even match my blush with the outfit I'm wearing and all of that. But generally I love me a good orange blush. It just looks better on me. Don't want to apply your powders directly on your face. If not, it's going to look cakey. So always make sure you're patting off the excess, and you can also like blow. Like I told you guys, I'm not doing eyeshadow, so we're just going to bring this blush into my eyes. To make drawing your brows a bit easier, I would always advise you to clean up or shave before you start. I forgot to do this before I started with my makeup, but since I have a razor, I'm just going to try just to remove whatever excess hair is over there. A friend of mine asked for an eyebrow tutorial. I think I'll just do a TikTok video for that. For brows, I don't know. I just believe everybody at this point should know how to draw their brows. But yeah, I'm going to do a tutorial on that. But for this video, I'm just going to quickly draw my brows off camera. I'll be using the Davies Color 3 eyebrow pencil. I do have the Beauty Line by DD pencil, but I don't have strength to look for it. So let's just use this one. If you want your brows to pop, if you want it to stand out, with each step, please do not hesitate to sharpen your pencil. After brows, I went ahead to do my eyeliner with this Paula Beauty liquid eyeliner. You guys, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like my eyeliner game is falling off so bad. But we're just going to manage it for today because I don't have strength. I'm going to go ahead with my powder. Now, first, one mistake I used to make was just using my powder brush on top of this, which is this normal big powder brush. But I promise you, getting a smaller powder brush is the best thing you can do for yourself, especially for this inner part of your face. When you want to do an overall blend, you can use a big powder brush. I have two, so I use this for the dark parts of my face and I use this for like the inner parts. But first off, you want to use this to blend in your baking powder into your skin, and then you just press it. Blend it in first without any product. Don't add any product in your brush. There's literally nothing on this brush. And just try to blend that in. Press it into your skin. You're not swiping, you're just pressing it in so the powder actually like sinks into your skin. It's completely blended in, so we'll move on to the general face powder application. So for that, I would also be using this ZKL face palette. So what I do is I use this, which is a bit bright. I use this for like the inner corner of my face, and then I use the darker one for the outer part. You guys already know when it comes to getting my lashes done, it has always been a love-hate relationship. Now, the mistake I used to make was using black eyelash glue. For someone who struggles with fixing her lashes, by the time you use that black lash glue, you would end up staining your eyeshadow, or like, I don't know, your eyes are just going to look a mess, especially if you have to take it off, apply, take it off, apply. For this one, I think both eyes took me like two tries for this one, two tries for this before it finally stayed on. If I had used a black lash glue all over my eyelid, you'd have been seeing black marks on it. Throw out your black eyelash glue and get something clear. This is the classic makeup super hold lash glue. I've been using this for a while and I actually like it, but my favorite thing about it is the fact that it's white, but by the time it dries on your lashes or dries on your eyes, it's going to turn clear. So chances of you staining your eyelids or staining your eyeshadow is really slim. I had to apply the lashes off camera because I already knew it was going to be a struggle. I hope this lash does not look weird in my eyes. I haven't worn lashes in so long, you guys. I'm not done powdering my face. In fact, I've not even applied powder on my face, but I think I just want to line my lips before I get started with that. Today, I really don't feel like wearing makeup. I'm just wearing makeup because of this video. So I don't want to do anything too crazy. I'm just going to line my lips with this black lip pencil, and then I'll use a clear gloss on top. I will just call it a day. Another mistake I used to make was not overlining my lips. For this, I don't know if it's a mistake. I guess it just comes down to personal preference. But overlining your lips just gives it this pouty look. I just do it slightly. You can see the difference between this part of my lip that is overlined and this side that is not lined at all. This part looks fuller, looks juicier, looks and please, you're not a local girl. So when you line your lips, blend. I actually saw this on TikTok, but you know that line between your setting powder and your blush? You need to tap on it so that line disappears. So this brush does not really have product on it, so I'm just blending in what I already applied on my face. You know how we used to apply highlighter on the bridge of our nose from the beginning till the end? Please do not do that. You just want to tap and then you place it. Thank God it didn't fall. Okay? And then you just place it at the tip. If you feel like, going a little extra, you can put another one over here. But I don't want to do that, so I'll just leave this at the center of my nose. And it's perfect. You don't need to draw that line on your nose. You look weird. Please don't do that. I also already applied highlighter on my cheeks. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't like it too pigmented. So this is just perfect. Now that I'm done with all of my powders, I always used to use a setting spray, but what I did not used to use, but I never used to follow it up with a locking mist. Now there's a difference between these two products. It helps to reduce the powdery effect on your face, because now I've gone in with lots of powders, so when I spray this on my face, it's just going to melt everything together and just let it blend better into my skin. Go in with a generous amount. So we're going to let this dry and absorb into my skin, and then you follow it up with a locking mist. What a locking mist does, it helps to lock your makeup and just keep it in place. So by the time the setting powder has dried down, my face will not be as powdery. I like to use an hydrating setting spray because it just helps to melt your makeup into your skin. I'm going to use this Seal It locking mist. For today's makeup look, I'm using the one from Pro Cosmetics. I got this, I think, last month, and I've been enjoying it since then. So when I spray this on my face, however my face looks like after the setting spray, it's going to help lock it in. It helps to extend the wear of your makeup. And you guys, we are done. We are done with today's look. This is the final look. I love it. I love it. I love it.